Okay, this is gonna sound weird, but have you ever noticed how a knife feels way sharper when it's wet? Like you're slicing a tomato and the blade just glides through it like butter. But when it's dry, suddenly it feels like you're sawing through rubber. What's going on here? Did the knife magically sharpen itself with a little splash of water? Or is your brain just playing tricks on you? Let's break it down. First off, no. Your knife didn't suddenly level up because it got wet. It's not Excalibur in the sink. But it does feel sharper, and there's a really cool reason why. It all starts with friction. Yep, boring old friction. But trust me, it's the sneaky villain and the unsung hero in this whole thing. When a knife is dry, especially if you're cutting something soft or sticky, like bread, cheese, or even your finger if you're not careful, there's more drag between the blade and whatever you're cutting. Tiny microscopic ridges on both the knife and the food rub against each other. And that rubbing? That's friction slowing everything down. But the moment the knife gets wet, boom, friction takes a back seat. That thin layer of water acts like a mini lubricant. It fills in all those tiny grooves and lets the blade slide more easily through whatever it's cutting. Less resistance, less tearing, more slicing. Now here's where it gets interesting. Your brain is constantly comparing sensations, how things feel, how they move, the resistance they give you. So when your knife cuts with less resistance, your brain interprets that as sharpness. In other words, it's not just about the blade, it's about how the blade feels in action. And that's kind of wild, right? Because we usually think of sharpness as this physical thing. Like, how pointy is the edge? How fine is the bevel? But your brain's out here redefining sharpness based on experience, not just geometry. Now, there's another layer to this, and it's not just water that does the trick. Ever noticed how a freshly oiled kitchen knife, or one that's just been through a lemon, or some juicy fruit, also feels smoother? That's not a coincidence. Those liquids act like micro-lubricants too. Some are even slightly acidic, which can temporarily help clean off residue and make the edge feel cleaner and, yep, sharper. But wait, hold up. Doesn't that mean water makes everything better when cutting? Well, kinda. But there's a catch. If your knife is too wet, especially if you're cutting stuff that's also super slippery, it might actually backfire. Instead of gliding cleanly, the blade can slide in ways you don't want, like slipping off the surface or not cutting straight. So yeah, moisture can enhance sharpness feeling, but it can also make things riskier if you're not paying attention. Pro chefs, they know this. That's why you'll sometimes see them pat ingredients dry before slicing. Control, precision, safety, and don't forget, wetness doesn't actually sharpen the blade. If your knife's dull, no amount of water is going to save you. You'll just end up smushing tomatoes and cursing your cutlery. Now let's take this out of the kitchen for a sec. The same idea applies in other places too. Ever tried shaving with a dry razor? Feels like sandpaper on your face, right? But add some water and maybe a little shaving cream, and suddenly, smooth city. It's not that the blade changed, it's that the experience changed. Friction went down, glide went up, perceived sharpness increased. Even in science labs, when researchers are slicing super thin samples, like plant cells or tissue, they often add moisture to make the blade cut cleaner. It's not magic, it's physics, and biology, and a little bit of psychology too. So next time you're in the kitchen and you feel that smooth, satisfying schlick as your knife slices through something juicy and wet, remember, what you're feeling isn't just sharpness, it's science, it's friction, it's your brain making sense of an edge that's working with the water. not against it. And hey, maybe you just learned something that'll make cooking a little cooler, or at least give you a random fun fact to drop at dinner. Either way, now you know, a wet knife feels sharper, not because it is sharper, but because it's slipping past the laws of friction, one slice at a time. If you like this little slice of science, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and tell us in the comments, what's the weirdest kitchen question you've ever had? You bring the curiosity, we'll bring the science. Catch you in the next one.